Well, holy manoli, everybody. We are back. I wanted to start off this show just kind of a reflection on 3 years now. We've had hundreds and hundreds of guests on our show. These are still images. They're all recorded in high def. So I turned these into my cornhole board background. Believe that? And I thought that's true. And then I said, well, now they're formula. I said to cut them again and make them fit. But this is just a sample of some of the guests that have been on our show. So we'll put you on our next set of cornhole boards, maybe. How about that?
All right.
You're famous. You do a good job. You get on the cornhole boards for the Cardinal Cowboy. And when we go down to a cabin in a secret location, and we play cornhole for a little while. Get to have a little fun. Are you a cornhole player?
Yeah, I play sometimes.
All right. You pretty good?
Depends on who you ask.
You don't want to play the Cardinal Cowboy.
Yeah, probably not.
Because
compared to you, I'm probably not very good.
Yeah, if you beat me, you might not make it out. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. We have a lot of fun. That's great stuff we get to do. So let's jump back into here, because I want to show you a lot of the work that's been done by this young gentleman who's doing a great job in our community, on our planet, and in our world. And so with that, we've got his TV walls. We've got those giant TV walls. That is your personal Facebook page.
Yep.
And you got a lot of good stuff on there and information that we want to share with people. So that's where we're going to go to jump into some of the videos, because he's kind of cross-marketing, if you understand what that means. From his, they talk about that cross-posting. They talk about cross-posting. And you can post to different places at once. There's ways to do that through social media, through the interwebs. It's mostly Facebook does that, I think. But you'll go to 2 different platforms at once. In this kind of method, I think he's just decided to put some of it on his personal page. You got a lot of friends and people that follow you there too. So we're going to highlight some of the stuff he's got there. So take a look here. Walk me through, if you will, Jacob, a little bit of what you've got here on our TV wall with your pictures. You got a thumbs down there saying, that's kind of funny. Thumbs down, because this is what it looks like. That's not good.
Yeah, that was the one I cleaned yesterday.
And let me make sure I hit the right button here. And thumbs down, not so good. This is not what you want to start with. You're being kind of funny. I like that. And then thumbs up. Let's see if it rotates. Hey! Can you see it? I'll take the graphic off there for the purposes of allowing you to see the whole thing there. But that's before. That's after. Looks like a new house.
Yeah.
Looks like a 30-year-old house and then a new house.
Yep.
Is that fair to say? Is that kind of that's what you get to do for people?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to jump back in here and more work that he's done, and I'm going to try to, maybe I just go forward to the next. Yeah, some more pictures and some more close-up sighting pictures there. So let's put those up there, because I do like that. And look at that. Look at that difference.
Yeah.
That's the same wall.
Yep.
That's not like somebody spackled old style trying to look like old-fashioned that they printed new. That's what it looks like. Do not want that. There are definite reasons to get that cleaned up.
That was probably the dirtiest one I've watched this year. For sure.
This year, that's the record setter. All right. As I escape there, hit the escape button, it takes you out. A little video here, talking a little bit about stuff. You showed me earlier. The audio wasn't your favorite on that, but here's some good video of you doing a scrub. What do you call this?
Yeah, so that's a surface clean on the concrete with the surface cleaner, the rotary cleaner. You just set it on the ground there, and it goes to town.
You got good music playing with that in the background. I can hear it. It's not playing through the system, everybody. If I was playing that, I'd be getting a call from some people at the network saying, unless you own that audio, you can't do it. But I can tell it's not playing because when I talk, good. But we pipe that in as necessary when we want to, for reasons that we can, but not when. But great job there. That is a big difference for people to see the before and during and after. There's your website, and here is that video.
Yeah, this is probably one of people's favorite cleaning videos, is the surface clean of the concrete. Everybody loves those because you can just see instantly.
Yeah, you can tell right there. I was just say, I might have some work for you at my residence. Maybe at some time I'll show you pictures of my house so you can come over there and go through that.
I'd love to.
And maybe do me some good. This is one I noticed on your Facebook that was interesting because, he's also a part-time stormtrooper for the kids around St. Louis at charity events. If you notice that, I work with the stormtroopers guys, and they do a lot of fun stuff. But that's not what's going on here. This is because you are wearing a
respirator.
That is an actual respirator. I don't remember wearing a respirator. I did have one when I was in my coma. Apparently I had it breathing for me. I don't recall this. I pulled it out. Don't remember that either. Not fun to have on and not necessary most times unless something going on.
Putting down some harsh chemicals. This was at Shake Shack. They get a lot of grease buildup on their patios, and so I come in and clean it up for them. They're really big on keeping a clean appearance, so shout out to Shake Shack. They love their restaurant clean.
And you said the only time that there was it was necessary to wear the respirator was when you were using the chemicals to clean it, right?
Yep.
It wasn't because you were like, oh my gosh, obviously. But yeah, a respirator necessary at times, when, probably after hours or on whatever hours you went there to clean, because you want to make sure this thing does get right. And he doesn't just do this for fun to look like a stormtrooper. He does this because you got to make sure you don't inhale those chemicals.
When you're doing it every day, you got to protect your health, and so that's one thing I like to take care of. I wear gloves and goggles and a respirator every day to kind of take care of the longevity and stay healthy throughout the years.
Smart man, doing it the right way. This one caught my attention. We'll just start off here with the beginning. I guess this is an after photo. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And this is after. Wait till you see this one before, everybody. And there's the before and after side by side.
Yep.
Again, like the one, and you did the deck too, it looks like here also. All right, so on the screen I can see that, and we take off our graphic there, but lots of dirt on the left on the floor, and this could bring back the old natural finish they've got on the, that you can see now. But that vinyl, my house is white vinyl, so you might be able to help me with some of that, because I don't think I have it quite like that. I hope not. I have paid attention to my house a little bit. What causes this? What would you say it causes this kind of dirt and buildup?
So just not getting a lot of sunlight. That was the north side of the house. This client said it had only been 2 years since they had it cleaned last, so that's a pretty bad. They got it pretty bad out there in Wildwood.
Okay.
If an area gets a lot of shade, and it rains, it gets wet, a lot of moisture in that area. The sun can't dry it, and so just the north side of the house is always the dirtiest.
And so that's dirt. That's not buildup from.
That's mold, mildew, algae. And a little bit of dust on there as well.
Okay. And what you're saying is naturally the sun, after the water, it would cause it to die or fall off or evaporate, I guess.
Just kind of dries it up, yeah.
Dirt and et cetera. Okay. Because I'm like, man, it must have been just like some dirt storm came across there, but it's tree debris and everything else that builds up. If you're too close to the trees. How far away were the trees from their house?
They had some in the backyard, but they were probably towards the back of the backyard. It's just little microorganisms growing on the siding, and they kind of just hang out there until
life likes to prosper wherever it can find a place.
Yep, for sure.
Especially when you talk about greenery and related algae and those kinds of things. The roofs we'll talk about a little bit too. If we have some pictures about that, people have green algae on their roofs. How does that happen?
Yeah, just a lot of. If you get a lot of shade on the roof. A lot of people in St. Louis don't really go for the house wash, but there are some. If you drive around, you'll see black streaks down the shingles. We'll do a soft wash of the shingles as well. You don't want to power wash the siding just as much as you don't want to power wash the roof, because if you get a leak in your roof, you got bigger problems than it just being a little dirty.
And lots more to share on your Facebook as I put this up on the wall for everybody. But Jacob does a great job sharing information with people. That's what social media is really all about. Share information, share things that might entertain. We get a lot of that, of course. But give good information. There's another example on the wall there of your, now what do you call that device that does that?
Surface cleaner, yep.
Surface cleaner. I guess my mom probably has one of those that I'm supposed to clean the house with at time to time. It looks like it's one of the ones in those big professional ones they use for flat surface floors, indoor.
Yeah, right? Like almost like a floor buffer.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's
sort of the same thing. It's got a rotary nozzle in there, and it just kind of spins, and you just push it over the ground, and it power washes all of it.
Power washing the floors to make them look brand shiny and new on the outside. Now scrolling back up here, if there's any particular other videos, there's you outside of a house. You give some consultation here. Obviously, when you're talking to people, you're informing them. You educate people quite a bit too. There's another example. I'll put that up for. This is that. What'd you call it again? Surface washer.
Yep.
And with that surface washing, oh wow, that looks cool. And here you. Bullwash.com he mentions there, and there's the website for that. But Jacob, do you want a selfie? Do you have a little selfie stick, or are you just holding your camera?
I just hold the camera, and I just kind of tell people what's going on, what we're doing for the client, and how we're helping them out.
And there it is. And that surface wash. Man, okay, I got some stuff. It looks like my concrete is black. It's not. It's light gray or dark gray, right? So I can tell you Might be talking to you about that. All right. Pretty cool what you do there to help our little planet and do what they do. Well, let's jump back into some of the more discussion because we told people we were going to follow up with some important information that will help them make this deal with these kinds of problems. But tell me then, if you got one specific instance, I'm probably in your time doing this, almost over a half decade now. Give me an example of one time where you really helped the client that did not know what they were getting into, maybe got left out with somebody else that told them they would do it, or whatever. Or maybe somebody that you were working with and they said, "Hey, but I need this." Can you give me a couple examples or one good example, somebody you helped?
Yeah, so a lot with the gutter cleaning, people don't realize because they're not up there on the roof that their gutters are full. And when your gutters are full and the water can't flow away from the property clearly, it'll seep over the gutters and go down into the foundation of your home and can actually crack the foundation and cause the house to settle. And you don't want that. And I had a client, actually one of the Google reviews, his name's Kyle. He had a little directional gutter system for his water flow, but it was leading back towards his house. And so I told him after I cleaned the gutters, and made everything right with the gutters, that when it came down at the bottom, it was actually just going right back into the foundation.
Yeah, water around a foundation is never a good thing, and
No.
I didn't realize, but it's part of the whole house system, right? The gutters, I've seen this happen where they get filled up with water and they start pouring out over the top of it.
Yep.
What's causing that to happen?
Just a lot of debris buildup in the gutters. If you got a lot of trees above the house, sticks and leaves will just build up right at the downspout and just clog it up. So.
And then that causes the overflow, and then the water's not going down the gutter into the runoff.
Right.
It's going into the side of the house.
Right.
And that causes bigger problems. Now you helped me think about it. I just noticed an area of my basement that I finally just decided to move everything away from it. I thought it might be condensation, but it might be that there's water running off on that side of my house.
Definitely could be, yeah.
And it just causes a little bit of water, and then you get a little water in your basement. I did have that happen a long time ago, and boy, we had to come in with all kinds of spray stuff to just get everything out of there because you just get a little bit of water. I mean, I had to bring in a whole team of people, and they sprayed all that stuff and did all that. But you don't want that to stick around because then if you let it linger, you end up with this thing called mold.
Yep.
How often does somebody end up with mold on the outside, but also could be caused on the inside because of what happened on the outside? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a lot of times people won't even notice it. So I don't hear too much about it. That's usually the water restoration people that I'll work with. Send them some business. If the gutters were full and there is mold in the basement, I'll shoot them a text and say, "Hey, I got a client here that needs some help. Can you help them out?"
But more reason to take care of this stuff because you think it's a problem that's on the exterior, but you're not sitting there watching the water run out of your gutters because you're inside where it's nice and dry
Right.
while the rain's coming down. And then you can see that water splash out if you ever look out the window maybe at the right time.
Yep.
And then you say, "Oh, it's just running over a little bit right there." But it's actually running down into the side of your foundation. Whole reason to just make proper maintenance, everybody. When he talked about how people sometimes wait 5 years, I'm like, huh. I know some people that wait way longer than that. I'm not going to name any names. But yeah, I mean, do these things right. I have a friend who has a power washer. He's told me a couple times, "I'll come over and power wash." I'm like, hold on. Is it a power washer? And now I've learned about the soft wash.
Yep.
That's a big difference because you can dramatically damage, especially vinyl homes.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's very true. I've seen the house I cleaned yesterday actually had a few holes in it. I'm not sure if it was from the hail or what it was from, but you can definitely do that with a power washer if you're using it the wrong way.
Yeah, because if you analyze, I do a little construction myself. If you analyze just some of my own little minor repairs, I'm fairly handy, but some people aren't, and that's fine. But I saw those vinyl pieces. There's usually 3 tiers that come out, and that's one big piece because they don't have one piece of vinyl. Back in the day, the old houses, they had one piece of siding. It wasn't even vinyl then, whatever it was. And then they put one on top of the other. Now they've got a 3-in-1, but they snap together at the top and the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have if you pressure that too much, you cause those to come unsnapped. Is that true?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
And is that what you're talking about? Because if you hit it too much, then you're causing water to go behind the vinyl.
Yep.
Then you better have Tyvek or whatever. Hopefully you have some underlayment.
Right.
That covers it because vinyl against wallboard causes problems too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's places where the vinyl will overlap, and even if you're soft washing the wrong way, you can still get water behind those overlaps because they're directional and they're all going one way. So if you shoot the other way, then you get water behind the siding.
We need water for life to sustain our little time here on this planet, but it's bad to have it in the middle of your vinyl
Right.
along your wallboard.
Mm-hmm.
I guess typical wallboard. Is it Tyvek? You've seen that. You know what I'm talking about. Tyvek. You probably had some vinyl come off and you look behind it. Oh, there was the Tyvek. Tyvek home wrap, I guess, has been around, I don't know, 10 years or so. But some houses, I guess, don't have that. If you got a house that's older than 10 or 15 years old, then you vinyl, what's behind that? And if you don't have anything, then you're just power washing your siding, your wallboard that like isn't designed to have water at all.
Right.
That's why the Tyvek.
Yeah, it's exposed there.
That's a problem. Okay. Learning here as we talk, everybody. How has the technology changed for you, though? I mean, as a matter of when there was an upgrade, something new, I guess soft wash is one of the biggest ones. That's technically a technology, right? Change in the way people apply and treat this. Any other big revelations or things that people need to be wary of, and reason why they should hire someone? Because you can get out there with your pressure washer, and if that's all you got, you can't reach things. What are some of the other technologies that impact what you do?
So one thing I have is called a remote manifold, and so I can switch from chemical to water real quick. If I need to rinse something real quick, I'll be behind the house and I can just click my little remote and it changes the way the manifold works in the trailer, and it'll start shooting water. And people need to avoid being on ladders, especially a lot of my clients. And so there's just new soft wash pumps coming out every day that can shoot chemical 5 stories, 6 stories up in the air. Just to apply chemical for a soft wash. That's more of the commercial work, but people ask me if I'll be on a ladder, power washing on one side of the house that's up high, and that's just not the case. Just shoot the chemical from the ground, apply it from the ground, and rinse from the ground as well, and we'll be on our way safely.
Safely, he throws in there. Key. Right, I don't realize how many people, I'll tell another sad story. It worked out okay. My dad, being a bit of a do-it-yourselfer. And I was young, come back from playing soccer as a 25-year-old out of college. We were still playing soccer. And next thing I see a ladder on the side of the house laying sideways, which means it fell. And I walk into the house and I'm like, what happened? I go, and where's Dad? Well, Dad was at the hospital because he was up on a ladder. And he tied it down over here and did his thing there and got it all done. And then something he didn't do as the expert that he is, the ladder went sideways and he smashed his face. And his joke was, because my dad was always a good, positive guy, he says, you should have seen the damage I did to my plow that was laying on the ground, where he smashed his face into the plow. He's like, I really messed up my plow. But my dad had to get new teeth in the front of his face as a 65-year-old man, which was not preferred.
Yeah.
Don't get up on ladders. I didn't realize that one. But yeah, he was up there cleaning gutters. You help people to keep their gutters clean as a matter of the process here.
Yep. Yeah, with the gutter cleaning, ladder safety is definitely very important. There's ladder stabilizers that you can use, and there's also how you position the ladder so that when you get to the top, it doesn't sweep out from under you and fall over if you're setting on uneven ground. There's a lot more that goes into it than people think.
Okay. Well, you brought back a crazy memory. I remember walking in to see my dad in the hospital. He had these 2 little beacons coming out of the top of his head because they had wires that went down his face and came out here to put his jaw back together, and they tied them together at the top of his head. They looked like a Martian robot thing going on. But again, he was just like, yeah, I really messed up my plow. You should, my case, in my accident, my coma, I got hit by a drunk driver, because you should have seen the other guy. I've got a pretty nasty scar that goes from over here. I was in the backseat of a car, asleep if we recall. There was no actual fight. My dad makes those jokes. But don't take these kinds of risks. Hire somebody. Yeah, I saved $200 overall, maybe, because I bought the equipment myself, that did it halfway, and I put my life at risk by climbing up on a ladder, doing the other craziness that I shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
Is that fair to say? All right. As we finish up here, we got a few minutes left, but talk about a little bit about it. A matter of, like, by now, if you haven't decided that you should probably hire Jacob and his team Bull Wash, he's going to tell you right now how you do hire him. And right behind me, can you see, is that it? Request a quote. Is that the easiest way? What's the best way for somebody to hire you to do work?
So yeah, definitely give me a call. Sometimes I'm on site, so I can't get to every call right away, unfortunately. But if you just head over to my website, you can request a quote, and it'll give you a few different options on some services you want done. Just select whatever you'd like, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. I try to get back to everybody within 24 hours. Get them a quote as fast as I can, just because people want their problem gone, and I'm here to do that. So.
Well, I'm going to share with you a little tech tip, and I'm going to offer this to say, I'll show you how to do this. There is software available that is dirt cheap and that'll allow you to send an automatic text back to somebody when they call. So they receive the text and it will say, I can't answer your question at this particular moment, but if you send me a text, I'll answer you in like 30 seconds or a minute, as soon as, because you're going to get the alert then, and you'll say, oh,
Right.
hold on 1 second. Probably pull your phone out of your pocket while you're still pressure washing, because you may keep that in your pocket behind you, and then say, hey, where's your address or whatever it is. But you can literally, and so he's on the ball already. We're going to help him serve more people with that little, that's one little technology tip I got for you. And there's a lot of those I can help people with. Get a hold of me, everybody. That's what we talk about. I'm a technology nerd. Mom and dad made me go to computer classes just in case the professional baseball career didn't work out. And my coach told me I should have made it, my college coach, but he said you got to have a different plan. But hey, we all have to find that path in our lives, right? All right, so tell me, what is it of all the things that you've accomplished in your life? There's obviously some times in your life where there were some hurdles.
Yep.
What would you say one of the biggest hurdles as a business owner that you've had to overcome to help keep your business in order? Because now 5 years means you're on that path. It's once you made it 10 years, most businesses don't last a year. You're 5 times that already. Big hurdle you think you've overcome?
The hardest part is just getting your name out there, but also at the same time, a lot of people just tell you how they think you should do it. And being a younger guy, they're like, hey, do this. And I know most of the time which direction I want to go. And so I try to just keep my head down and stay focused and stay the route.
That's how you do it. I figured it out. And that's we decided to have Jacob on, because he says, hey, man, I get how the TV thing works. And we decided, hey, you're a leader. You're doing a great job. We want to have you on to talk about that. Because technology these days, I mean, would you say it's fair to mention that if you are not embracing social media, internet, you're going to be out of business in a few years? Because even the small guys can do that now. If you're one of those guys that's doing exclusively word of mouth, don't even have a website, you're looking for trouble.
Yep. Yeah, you got to stay on top of the technology. Everything is run through technology nowadays. It's very rare that I get a client that calls me from word of mouth or from somewhere else. I mean, I do get people that are like, oh, you cleaned my neighbor's house or my brother's house, reach out to me. But a lot of people see my website or they just see something online.
How often is it they got referred to you by a friend and they still then said, I'm going to check out your website? They don't tell you.
100%.
100%. 100% of the time, everybody. 100% of the time it happens. Every time. So get yourself a great looking website. If you need some consulting with that, let us know about that. We can talk to you about that, because we tell people don't get taken advantage of with some guys who spend way too much. And websites are pretty basic these days, and they still look good. It's more about the automated follow-ups and things I'm going to help Jacob here with too. He's doing a great job, man. This guy's on the ball. A major objection that people have when people are literally, they're in the middle of this and they're thinking about it. What's the biggest question somebody has? And they're like, well, I'm interested, but.
Are you insured? They ask if you're insured, and I tell them, yes, I'm insured, and even if I wasn't, I'll make everything right, 100% guaranteed satisfaction.
Yeah, you're saying you're insured regardless, but you're saying if it's something they weren't happy with, just from an aesthetics perspective or something they just missed, you're going to make sure it's done right. If there's a problem and you broke off a lampshade or something, or I guess that lampshade might be inside, but if you broke off a lamp, I'm thinking about exterior light, then you're still going to fix that. You've got the insurance to do it. Or if it was a bigger problem, like you blew out a pipe by accident, that's why you have insurance. A lot of small business owners, they're like, $10,000 repair, calling the insurance company, you are insured to make sure that's covered. Yep,
and there are some things that happen. I'll clean windows inside people's house. I'll bump things sometimes, but always make it right. I'll pay for a new one. Another question that a lot of people ask is, will the solution hurt the grass? And I take very good care of all the plants and everything they got around the home, just to make sure that nothing happens to their precious plants.
Yeah, the soft wash has now become kind of the latest innovation, I think. How long has soft wash been around now, would you say?
It's actually been around longer than I thought. It's been maybe 20, 30 years, but it's not very common with the household do it yourself.
Right. And it all used to be a lot more harsh chemicals, from what I understand. It's like, yeah, we'll wash it. We got some chemicals for that. The next thing, you're killing all kinds of plants because you're not using the right chemical stuff that they've figured out. Eco-friendly, plant-friendly, green-friendly, all that kind of stuff. Yep. That important?
Oh yeah, very important to keep everything, because we're trying to make the house look good, and you can't make the house look good if all the grass is dead next to it. So,
well, as we finish up here, we've got about 3 minutes now to finish up what we're talking about. So, a couple good questions for you. What gives you the most satisfaction at the end of the day when you've figured out you know, you've got a good client. You're very happy with the work you did. They're probably very, but what causes you to want to continue to do this kind of work for people?
Like I was saying earlier, I love cleaning. Just seeing the before and the after, and the whole process behind it. It's just really satisfying. And then when people come out and they see it for the first time clean, there's just a look on their face that's priceless. They're just like, wow, that's the cleanest I've seen it in years. So it brings joy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're really helping people, this is the most expensive asset that just about anybody will ever own. We're talking about your house, right? And it's like 99% of people, they don't get into real estate moguls or Taj Mahal or whatever expensive asset that they might have, paintings and whatever. Their home, their house.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, and it's more important than it's just the fact that it's an asset that they have. It's something that's very valuable, important to their family. And this thing becomes decrepit. I mean, how often is there a case? Maybe you've seen this where people had to evacuate the home because they didn't deal with the mold, and now it became unlivable. You don't want it to get to that point. That's why they should call you like every 2 or 3 or 5 years at most, right?
Yep.
And
yep.
How often do you see mold?
Oh, every day.
Every day.
And that's what's growing on the siding. It's just mold, mildew, all that organic stuff, and yeah, I don't want to be around it.
You'll be the guy that cleans it up and takes it away from them so they don't have
Yep.
to deal with it anymore.
Absolutely.
Very important. Mold, bad. Clean, good.
Yep.
Bull Wash Exterior Cleaning, everybody. St. Louis specialist in exterior cleaning, bullwash.com, 314-996-9183. We got an expert right here that can tell you. Call them, text them, get a hold of you. They'll make sure you got all the equipment, everything, and the experience, and the utilities. And a big old trailer we saw that he drives around. It carries all your equipment.
Yep.
Got a lot of equipment in there, I would assume.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been accumulating quite the amount of equipment. I'm looking to get a second rig here soon. Maybe get a flatbed. Be a little easier to navigate than the trailer. Sometimes you run into a dead end where there's no turnaround, so the trailer is just a little bit of a hassle in those scenarios.
Yeah, equipment pays, right? You got to have the right stuff. We built our studio here, everybody. We spent quite a bit because people come in and say, so you can just do the whole show and help me and share my work, and I don't have to buy $20,000 worth of equipment? Yeah, that's why you hire somebody like Jacob here, because you don't have to buy $500 worth of equipment. I mean, you can do these little things on your own, but you're really gambling with that. It's not worth the energy to do that. All right, last question. You already talked about this. We got 10 seconds, so I like what you do in the community. Would you say the best thing you do in the community is helping those subdivisions, or do you any other work with any other charities you like?
Yeah, Bull Wash Wednesdays is definitely the number one. I love cleaning up the community and just making people proud to live in the neighborhood that they do live in. So
if you need some help, you want to get your neighborhood clean, look up for Bull Wash Wednesdays, or just if you need to get your neighborhood or your own house clean, or you know somebody needs it, get a hold of our friend here, Jacob McCallister, and he does a great job. He's the owner of bullwash.com, Bull Wash Exterior Cleaning. Did I say that right?
Yep.
All right, everybody, stay tuned for more. Giddy up.